Last time, we made it to Aruba on barely any sleep, but in today's episode, we take on the trickiest haul-outs we've ever done.
Are you serious? You're going to record the thing?
So today, we are starting to put the boat to bed for the summer, for the off-season. Stefan is organizing all of our old lines because we got new lines with our upgraded rigging changes. And I just finished sealing all of the spices and the food stuff that we're going to be keeping with a vacuum sealer.
So yeah, we got some new lines, so making some piles. One pile is to give away, so when we go to some of those islands, probably fishermen and stuff will be happy to have some of these older lines. One pile is going to be keeping as a spare. Another pile will be potentially sending it if somebody is interested. And then as I remove to put the fishing line, or not fishing line but lead line, to remove all the lines and make sure I label them, because there's so many lines, and especially we changed colors on some lines, so when I come back I just want to make sure that's this line, that's this line.
People are going to be asking us why we're getting new lines when our boat's still pretty new.
Different reasons. Some lines got damaged, like the spinnaker halyard. It was pulled too tight, and there is a guide up there that is kind of soft, and then the metal part of the shackle rubbed on it, created a surface that was like with friction, and then the halyard keeps moving with the spinnaker, and it rubs on it, so it got damaged. So we need to replace that. And I did not realize that was the core that was also inside, and so that would have been pretty bad. So that was important. Like the 3D, I never loved the 3D. I think it was too much friction, 180 degrees with the low friction rings. I talked to the design office, they dismissed my comment, but talking with Arthur, I'm validated because he's a pro. And so at a minimum, what we did, we replaced those lines because there's a lot of friction with the low friction rings, and so he explained it. Yeah, he put an outside Dyneema cover, and also smaller diameters here because the other ones was too big to go into the Dyneema loop. So at least it's more slippery. We would have had more time. We would have put some blocks and stuff to have a much better design. And I hope Outremer listens to that and changes that. If owners get 3D sheeting, they are going to be picky about their installation, and you need to make some. There used to be better installation. I've seen it on other Outremer. So take a note. Another reason is this part inside is under a lot of load. This one is not bad, and decent cover, but I don't have one to show you, but there was one that was like super glassy, super hard, so that eventually it's brittle, so it could break. So that's another reason why we changed at least another halyard like that.
So today's goal is to try to get the rest of the battens out of the main, because we have to take the main down for insurance reasons. And it's not easy because the battens are connected from underneath the sail. Stefan removed the ones on top because they were the main was flaked with the batten pockets facing up. These are now facing down, so they're the biggest ones, and they're at the bottom, and we're going to try to do that.
And at the back. And the plan will be, we have our friends from Lorry Kit, Outremer 4X from Australia. So I think we have a nice big spot right here on top. But if we have an extra pair of hands or two, then we can flake the main at the same time. But the next few days, basically, so it's Monday night, we have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Ideally Thursday night we move inside because we're the first boat to haul out on Friday. If not, we have to go Friday morning. But so unfortunately the next few days, as much as it's windy right now, it's going to be a lot more windy. So we removed the first one, the top, took some measurements because there's some settings, and now as you can see, my headlamp, the batten pockets. So removing the battens one by one. So there's little very clever system with a low friction ring. So the batten goes in there. This loop goes through the batten, comes out here through that low friction ring, and then you adjust the tension here. So keep it together. So I removed 4 battens, but we have 6 total. So this one is done too. Now I'm coming to the last 2. So that's this one and one more. Yeah, here, this one. So can you imagine that batten goes all the way to the front, so we're going to have to fit it inside the boat through the back hatch.
So we are trying to do that in 30 knot gusts.
Oh, I don't know, 25.
He's always optimistic. And we made some extra straps on our sail bag to keep the bag really tight. And so the straps are going to come in handy because now we don't have to completely remove the sail bag.
We made this modification to the sail bag for 2 reasons. Because the sail bag is always a little bit bulkier than the sail. And our sail bag is done with 2 zippers, which we requested because we want to be able to remove the top and not have the sail bag, against the sail, rubbing and stuff. So we like this very much, but because the sail bag is a little loose, when it's windy, I put some straps so it doesn't get damaged. And when it rains, there are pockets of rains, and it infiltrates through the zippers, and then there's water in the sail. And for any sail, but 3DI, that's an investment. We try to protect it. So we added some straps. We'll show that to you. So it tensions the bag, so the water, the rain flows. And at the same time, if it's very windy, then we can strap it and it doesn't flog. And if it's not windy, we don't put them, so the air circulates to dry the sail and stuff like this, and not having the heat trapped. But we just found, because we need to work at the back, instead of removing all the bag and it's windy and the sail's blowing up and put the sail ties, we're going to leave the straps, move the zipper all along until the end, and we should be able to leave everything in place. That's the plan, and that's a feature we didn't plan for, but it looks like it might work, so we'll test it right now. So right after that recording, Holly is giving me a speech. And I thought, because I've heard it so many times, I thought it would be more fun that you join the conversation, and then and let's do that. So ignore the camera.
What I was saying is, you talk with your hands a lot, and it does 3 things. 1, it makes the camera unfocused because it's focusing on your hands.
Like what you're doing?
Yeah. Secondly, it makes the light go bad because it doesn't know what to focus on because you're not standing still. And third, it's like super distracting. So, yeah.
It is my life. My movie director is like coaching me. I think maybe this summer I need to take some acting classes.
No, it's just viewers don't like the bad video where it's out of focus. That's what I'm trying.
Okay, so my hands beyond my words.
He's like,
I'm not Italian, by the way.
He's like Ricky Bobby. Like, what do I do with my hands?
You have to express yourself in the best way you can. So maybe my hands started to help myself.
But your hands are obnoxious.
So anyway, now you got a slice of my life after every recording. Like, no, the worst.
Let's do a slice of
While she's recording me, she's behind and she's like, doing all this body language because I have to look at the camera because I don't know, my hands, whatever. So it's like I'm trying to say something. So if it doesn't make sense, mostly it's because Holly is in the background talking to me
That's not
at the same
true.
time.
That's not true.
Okay, let's see what we can do today. The nice thing with the straps is we can open up the front and there is airflow, so the sail doesn't get too hot and dries up if it's wet. But it's not flogging, it's not being damaged, it's just a nice flow because it straps the bag. So that's cool. And then if it rains or something, we have some zip Velcro here. And then you can see if we close the sail bag, then it collapses. Therefore the rain doesn't get in. It's a good test with the wind.
The only downside is the Outremer branding. But oh well.
But at anchor, it's okay.
It's not windy though. Okay, so the trick is getting the battens out without losing them and having them fly away. The good news is we have the carbon battens, so they're lighter to handle. But if it flies away, it'll be... Oh, here we go. Good job. This is the last batten.
So glad it's a light batten.
Yeah, it'd be a struggle if it were really heavy.
Worst investment for many reasons, but one we didn't think about, but that's holding like a regular batten like this. I don't know if we could. These are light. Are you happy to being on land?
I am. You kept me captive on the boat. I couldn't leave. So now I'm able to leave.
Got to do your chores before you can go play.
I think you have your priorities messed up.
What were you feeling like tonight?
Pizza.
Pizza night. Our boat is right behind Lori Kid over there. And yeah. So we got up super early this morning to fold the mainsail and take it down because we have help from Lorikeet. And it wasn't very windy, but then it rained, so now we have a flaked and packed sail that's wet, so that's kind of a bummer. So something you're not going to believe, we were negotiating with our insurance company to try to let them allow us to agree to the terms that we had last year on our policy. But what happened is because of Hurricane Beryl, they increased the number of things that we needed to do. Like they wanted us to take not only the mainsail down, but the mast. And we're in Aruba, and they don't have the facilities to do that, and among other things. So we started negotiating. Oh, and they gave us wind limits, so we didn't have coverage over like, I don't know, 45 or 50 knots of wind, which isn't much actually. So we started talking to a different insurance company and getting other quotes. And then our original insurance company decided to come back and honor the same terms as last year, so we wouldn't have had to take the mast down and do all these other things, and there were no wind limits, which also meant we could have kept the mainsail on the boat. So we got an email this morning saying, no problem, we can do that, but we already took the mainsail down. So it's like a day late information. And wow, this thing's a monster. Good morning. It's our last morning at anchor for this season. And we're getting ready to bring the boat into the marina and get lifted out.
We've been doing a lot of boat projects for sure, and we discovered a new water maker problem, so Stefan's sorting through that. And oh, there's turtles. That's cool.
Good morning.
You ready for the haul out?
Yeah. We've been lucky with the weather window from Martinique to here. We got lucky with the weather when we got here to go to the immigration dock, and I don't want to say we're lucky.
Yeah, don't say it.
But it's been windy like hell. I mean, and now it's like moderate.
This morning is nice.
So it's a good time to. It's more like this. It's like, are you ready? Well, there's always a doubt, but yeah, I'm ready because I don't want to go back to like the winds of yesterday to haul out. So I'll take that window and get it done.
I saw 33 knot gusts. The airport reported.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like I was up on the coach roof and I just couldn't do anything. It was just blowing so hard.
Yeah.
So yeah.
This entrance is going to be a little spicy. It's 25 to 26 knot gusts. And yeah, should be fun. They currently don't have a lift at this marina, only a ramp. So that's on the back of our minds as well. It's tricky because it's a ramp, a tight space, and a whole lot of wind. Yeah. But we made it. We were so relieved to get in there and get attached, and they had plenty of people to help. So what'd you think of that docking maneuver?
Good. The takeaway is they want you as far in as possible ready to go for the ramp. So once our boat was in the dock, kind of went into neutral, and but then the guy is holding the line, so we need to keep moving forward. So I restarted the boat. Of course, like as soon as you go, you stop the boat. You know, the stern was being pushed. So we told our friends on the kit, just keep the momentum, keep going until you have like half a boat length behind you. And that's kind of roughly the position they want you at. Overall,
Victory?
I guess because we're attached. Yeah, I mean, it's 20. I mean, it was established 22, 25 knots. So definitely blowing. You have so always fun. But the crew was there on the dock waiting for us and catch the line. You did a good job throwing the first two lines. I told Holly.
Third line I couldn't throw.
As long as they have the bow line and midship line, the stern line, is not necessary, like in a rush.
From the stern, you have to throw the line up in the air, and those lines are heavy. And then I missed the first one, so then after that it was wet. So
it's heavier after that.
Really hard.
So that lesson was to maybe
throw further up the boat. Yeah.
Throw it midship.
Maybe.
Then they can walk back.
Yeah. As the season comes to a close, we can't help but feel mixed emotions. There's sadness in leaving the boat behind, but also joy in the idea of reconnecting with family. But it's not over yet, because we have another couple weeks of work to get everything done to tuck Awen away here in Aruba. And of course, some more unexpected surprises. So join us next time for all that, and please leave a comment. We love them.